Welcome back to another episode of ScraddleVision, people. Thank you for tuning in. And my guest today, of course, will be none other than artist and musician Chris Bell, who I've known a very long time, and I'm happy for him to be here. Also, I'd like to thank Pete Schrum for some of those pictures for the opening montage. Also, you might be wondering, well, is Steve going to be here today? Steve is actually going to be on Facebook, so if you are on Facebook, he is at Phil Collins, so you can chat with him. Also, he'll be hanging out with our new writing staff. So let me show you these guys. Steve found these guys. They work for Fago. This is Sad Sack, Trick Shot, and YOLO D Clown. They are now on the ScraddleVision writing staff. We'd like to welcome them, especially Trick Shot. She's such a cutie. All right. So, anyway, I'd also like to mention that we've got a couple of people lined up to come on the show. Peter Schreck will hopefully be on the show soon, as well as Chase Bentley. So we're looking forward to getting those all arranged. And if you would like to be a guest on ScraddleVision, please let me know. Just get in contact with me on Facebook or on the internet or wherever. And that now brings me to my guest. None other than the one, the only, Chris Bell. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks for having me. You know,
go ahead.
Watching the montage and hearing that lovely song, I got really concerned that this might be my memorial service. I just need you to confirm that that's not what's happening.
You know, my sister said the same thing about the last episode we did. She was like, I was so glad Lee was alive after the opening song. Maybe we need to write a new opening song. Who knows?
Oh, don't change a thing. It's beautiful. I love it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I love your voice and your piano playing, Jay.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. And thank you for being here today. And Chris, as you know, I like to start off the show with a Scotchberg. You know, a little cheers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for the audience right now. I'm going to play a little bit of Chris's music from a band, his project, I guess, called F Books. And we'll be getting more into that later. We're also going to be looking at some of his artwork on a slideshow with that. And we're going to go get our drinks, and we'll come back for a cheers right after this. Let's see. All right, so that was from Forever 31, and that was the track Hot Champagne on Ice. I decided to go with the drinking theme, Chris. It's actually 3 minutes of Hot Champagne on Ice, the last 3 minutes. I cut it down a little bit. So, but yeah, well, cheers, buddy. I've got a fresh bottle of scotch here.
Nice. Got a beer here.
Can you hear it? You ready for the glugs? Could you hear the glugs? Could you hear the glugs?
It was Hollywood sound artist quality.
It was actually Steve behind the scenes. You know, he also does Foley here. So, yeah. All right. Well, Chris, on with the interview. Oh, did we cheers? We didn't officially cheers yet. Cheers.
Cheers.
And to you, our audience, cheers. Refreshing Scotchburg. All right. So, let's get into this interview.
I'm excited to be on this show, Jay.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of the show ever since I found out about it on Tuesday.
Nice. Well, we're happy to have you here. How long would you say we've known each other, Chris?
I was actually just trying to remember when we met. I know the first conversation I had with you was at a holiday party at a company that we both worked at in. So it would have been pre-2011, I know, because I wasn't working there at the point.
Okay, probably met you through Pete Schrum, I guess, right?
Yeah. So we had met once before that, I know. So it's got to go back like 10 years.
Yeah. And our buddy Pete was also featured in the beginning pictures because he gave me some of those pictures. I think my favorite one of those, if I have to say, has to be the one of us having a noodle day at Pete Schrum's house. And what was great about it was actually organized by Pete's son Max, who called me up one day and he's like, "Uncle Jay, Chris Bell knows how to make noodles. You should come eat noodles." And I was like, "All right." I guess you had already been over there and cooked noodles, and then we had a noodle day, which was nice.
Remember when we made the long rigatoni?
Yes, super long rigatoni. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun day.
It was about 36 inches, I'd say. Maybe a little bit less.
It was one. Did you know that they also do stuffed rigatoni? I found this recently. Stuffed rigatoni. They just put like a shelled cheese inside of there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought about doing it, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Maybe a little sausage filling as well in there. Be nice. Anyway, enough with the food. So how did you get into making music, Chris?
Wow. I think when I was in maybe 4th grade, I took a violin class, which they kind of put the kids like, I think you're probably smart. You're going to play violin. And ever since then, I've been making music. No, I was terrible at it and could only make like real screechy sounds. My mom's definitely watching and she's probably got a different version of the story, but I guess I really started playing music when I was like 11 or 12. I bought my first guitar and started taking lessons for a long time, and it wasn't long before I started like screwing around and recording stuff, through like a boombox. And at that point, I don't know if do you want the whole story, or do you want me to just want to answer like 6 years?
I like hearing you, talk about it.
Yeah.
When did you get your first, so you started on guitar. When did you get your first keyboard? Because obviously most of your works now are very, very keyboard rich. So, when did you get into that kind of a style?
I haven't used the keyboard or the guitar in recording for a good like 6 or 7 years. It started just because I was kind of in transit in life. I around the time that I bought this house, like I was living somewhere temporary and working on this house on the side. and my guitars were just in storage. My amp was in storage. I didn't have a setup, right? So it was really easy to have my iMac and a keyboard set up. And I got really, I think, attached to like how simple and immediate it is to
Just the
work
convenience.
entirely,
Yeah.
yeah, entirely inside the box. I'm also pretty lazy, like in a undercover kind of way, like not like outwardly lazy, but if it comes to being able to start something right away with suboptimal tools, I will definitely do that rather than spend 2 hours setting stuff up. So at that point, I just kind of got into a groove, I think. And then, these last definitely 6 years, I just haven't touched a guitar.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you've released a lot of keyboard music, and we're going to be listening to some more F books later. Um, it's in fact we'll be talking so much about F books later. Let's move on to your artwork. We just saw some close up and kind of cut shots of your artwork, and I'm going to be showing just basically the whole pieces as well. But how did you get into artwork? And do you do anything besides the painting, or are there other avenues that you also explore?
yeah, I mean, I was doodling all through childhood, and it's funny. I had in high school chosen like an art concentration in my senior year, and I ended up just getting on the wrong side of my art teachers constantly and like going to detention and stuff. They kind of realized I had talent, but they did not like me because I was not, I wasn't well behaved. But then in college, I had actually at a Penn State branch campus after like in my first year already cycling through two majors. I met an art history professor there that I really liked, which you wouldn't expect a good art history class at Penn State Allentown campus. Um,
I wouldn't
but it
know what to
happened.
expect.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. You never know what to expect.
Hmm.
And then, yes, I studied. I went to the main campus of Penn State and had some really great art teachers there. And I kind of struggled after college to get any kind of creative practice going. A lot of my schoolmates were going off to grad school. Some of them, important, prestigious ones like Yale, and I just kind of let it fall by the wayside. And then a lot of the paintings you're about to show are from the past, say, 18 months, when I
I'm
kind
showing them
of,
now. Yeah.
yeah, when I stopped being an occasional painter and being a more regular painter again. And, been mostly working with gouache on paper. Gouache, if you're not familiar, is like an opaque watercolor, and it forces you to work really quickly, which I like, but it also allows for a little bit more layering and a different, method than watercolor would, where you're not just blocking things out. You can paint over another color. Um, but I really like that immediacy of gouache and how a lot of these paintings are from just like a straight 2 hour sitting. So it's something I can do on a weeknight. I'm not a full time artist, not a full time painter by any means. So one of the things as you get older is somebody who's not doing this stuff professionally or wants to do this stuff professionally is figuring out how to fit it into your life. It goes
That's why
for
I play all of my video games on easy mode now. Like I don't have time for all these side quests and everything. I just want to like know what the story of the thing is, and like maybe have to kill a couple of guys. That's it.
yeah, it's exactly like that. It's the exact parallel.
Well, I mean, also working with a medium that dries very quick, though, you've got to. It's there's almost a certain improvisational aspect to it, I'd imagine, because you're racing against time, like a Scotchberg, like a melting Scotchberg, racing against time. This wash.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that reason, this applies to my music as well. Like, I've never been a very idea-driven person. I've always been frustrated whenever I have an idea of exactly what I want to do in my head, and then I sit down and try to do it. The result is just never what I want it to be. Like you said, and you never know what to expect. It's the same thing. The creative process for me is more sitting down, working, exploring, and seeing what happens.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah, you have to.
I'd like to show a piece of art that you actually gave to me for my 40th birthday. Let's see if now this isn't the actual piece of art yet. Hold on, let me tell the story a little bit here. So we all went for Pete Schramm's birthday one year and got certified as barbecue judges. What kind of barbecue judge was it? St. Louis?
Kansas City,
Oh,
please.
Kansas City. Thank you.
You took an oath. You took an oath.
Yeah. So, and anyway, in the town hall there was this painting that I absolutely fell in love with. Who was painted by Judge Oscar Spicer, apparently of the Gettysburg area. I tried to finagle with them and buy it. I think he wanted me to donate $5,000 to a charity. In the end, I did not have the $5,000 for this piece. However, let's see. Hold on a second. However, that guy, comes to my birthday, my 40th birthday, and brings me this. I think it's chroma keyed out from the green screen stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Chris, you're the girl on the boat. Look.
I just want to. Everything that's very black there is more. I just want
very
to.
green. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post a picture of this after. I'll post it to my website or whatever. But it's basically. I mean, that other picture was like huge. It was a really large painting, and Chris just did like a miniature of it, and it hangs in my studio all the time. Anyway, I'll cherish this forever. Thanks, buddy. One of the nicest presents I ever got.
I remember working on that like up to the day of the party. And of course, I think other people were in on the gag, like Jay Hill and Pete Schramm, but like I did all the work, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah, you did. It was great.
It's a lot. There's a lot that went into that little piece of madness.
Well, if you can't tell, we're now on to the F Books segment.
I feel like we could have spent a good 30 minutes talking about everything that's in that Oscar Spicer painting.
You get lost in it. Yeah. And for a while, we didn't even know anything about the painting, so we were calling it the Indignant Cat. It's not even a cat, it's a bear, I guess, bringing people across on the
River of Dreams?
Across the river, but it looks like quite an indignant cat, if you ask me. But all right, onward. F Books. Now, Chris, F Books, interesting name. What does it mean?
So, when I was in college, there was a class that I had that was like a painting critique class. And one day in that class, one of the students was talking about how all the other students didn't read enough and said that we need a list of books that everybody needs to read. And I said, man, fuck books. And then from that day on, the professor
sarcastically, right? I mean,
I like books. Man. Yeah, I worked in publishing for like 10 years. So that was one of life's great ironies. But the professor ever since then referred to me as F Books or Dr. Books or Francis Books. And so around the time I started using that moniker, which was like 2007 or 2008, I was having some nostalgia for that time, 20 years, I guess, later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy. Is that right?
Please stop doing year math.
It was 10 years later. Wow. I'm slow. I'm slow today.
It takes a while.
20 years later now, 22 maybe. But anyway, yeah, here we are.
So yeah, you know, so and F books. I have basically, these are the covers of the albums. We also have 3 or 4 albums that are still, I think 4 albums that are not released yet. Chris is still working on releasing 4 albums simultaneously.
There's 5.
5, okay, 5
Yeah.
albums. So we have samples of some of them. He's been gracious enough to give us some advanced mix downs of some of this stuff. And as you can see, this just go to fbooks.bandcamp.com.
Where you won't find, just to be clear, yet the unreleased work, but the other ones that are released will be there.
Well, the one we're about to listen to right now is from the unreleased album 6 Songs for a Funeral. And, And we're going to be listening to the track I Didn't Expect This Much Traffic. Here we go. Dude, that one is dreamy. That is crazy. Why is it not?
Did it end?
I can't hear it. Hold on. It didn't do the transition thing right. There we go. Yeah, that sounds very like I'm trying to. Now I can't remember the name of the band. It reminds me of Tangerine Dream. Reminds me of early like Tangerine Dream. It's crazy. Really good.
They were a big influence of mine in general. That album came about pretty quickly. I started work on it after my dad passed away a couple years ago. And out of all of the works in progress, that one probably hit the quickest, in terms of getting to a point where it's, compositionally done. I'm a tweaker and, I get really picky about the way things sound, but in terms of writing, it all happened within the course of like 6 months. It really,
sounds really good. Sounds really organic. Can't wait for that album to come out.
Yeah.
So once again, I guess the 6 Songs for a Funeral, that's because it was around the time your dad died.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I think a lot about how the funeral itself is an odd experience. It's like sometimes death is sudden, right? Sometimes death happens through an accident, or sometimes, it's a violent event, but a lot of times it doesn't, we have very advanced healthcare right now. Sometimes people die really slowly with, a lot of exposure to a person's decline. And, that was the case with Dad. He was in assisted living for a few years, maybe a year and a half before he passed on, and was there a lot. It was a really big part of my life going to visit him. At least, he wasn't close by, so it wasn't every day, but it was every other weekend for sure. And just these days of just sitting there and witnessing, the stuff that he was going through, which wasn't transparent by any means. It was, he was clearly behind the scenes working some stuff out, but I was witnessing the little clues that he left behind, kind of perseverating over past life events and things he was still going to do. But then, there's all that experience of a person dying a lot of the time, and then all of a sudden there's a ceremony of a funeral, and you know, the name of that song refers to just driving out there early in the morning and being late because I didn't expect so much traffic, and I had this experience just like being on 76, like what I thought was super early in the morning, and like, fuck, I'm gonna be late for my fucking dad's funeral, and like, you know, anyway, funerals are weird. A lot of weird anticipation, a weird rite of passage for the people who survive, you know, loved one, and yeah, that whole experience kind of planted the seeds for that weird album.
Well, we're going to get on a lighter note right now with the name of the next album, which is not about death. It's actually a play on words somewhat. The name of the other album you're working on is Born to Run Errands. Born to Run Errands. So a little play on Springsteen there. I love it. You want to talk about what that album's about?
I mean, I don't think it's a lighter note. I mean, that's really me dealing with the fact that my life might not really mean anything in the end, you know? I might just be like a tool of capitalism and, you know, making sure I get the right kind of Swiffer refills, you know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's lighthearted, definitely in some respect, but in another respect it's not, which like
right.
most of my stuff is kind of a double entendre.
Like most good jokes, it's soul crushing, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a philosopher, Simon Critchley, who I really liked. I saw him speak once. He said, there was a quote from his book on humor, actually. He said, at the end of every bit of laughter or something like that, there's a realization of how weird it is to be a human being. I'm not remembering it very well, but like I definitely believe that in making jokes, like if they are going to be good jokes, there has to be something that tugs at something bigger. And so yeah, that's enough of me talking. You want to play it?
Well, we're going to play A Dream About a Dream Where We Were Swimming.
Yes.
Is it playing? Hold on a second. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Here we go. A Dream About a Dream Where We Were Swimming. We have a couple bit more pieces. Steve was saying we should do a jam, but Steve doesn't know we're not doing a jam today. So I do have a couple of things that I forgot to say. Number one, these video pieces that we're looking at, these were also done by Chris. So the backgrounds were video pieces that he did. Also, I forgot to mention another upcoming show we have, which is Chris Benedict and his family band. So that's another upcoming show that's going to happen.
This is Chris Benedict who, oh no, this isn't the Chris Benedict I know. We've already been over this. It's a different one. Go ahead.
Did you and Steve have this conversation?
We had this conversation one of the times I came over to jam over the winter.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play. So anyway, yeah, we tried to get a jam going, Chris and I, but due to the setup that he had at his house, we weren't able to do that. And also, with so much latency, we were going to try to do something really ethereal, something very Brian Eno, maybe some like theremin and keyboard sounds, but it just wasn't in the cards. So sorry, no jam today, people. But I am going to play a couple more F-Books tracks.
I'll come back with jam if we can figure it out.
Well, we'll have to jam some other time. Hopefully when, we're doing this remote. Chris is at his house in South Philly. I'm in West Philly. And so, yeah, this is, Chris wanted to do social. Well, Chris has been social distancing from me for about 20 years, but, this is, but no, we're staying safe here, doing our thing. And when we get together, we'll do a jam. When we get together again. Anyway, this next song is called Hotel World, and it's off the song. Off the album Odd Ends.
Yeah, are you playing it now?
I'm gonna play it right now.
Okay.
You can talk over it if you want.
No, that's okay. I'm just gonna turn around in my chair.
Yeah, that's another one I'm really into. Love that. Can't wait till Odd Ends comes out.
So Odd Ends and Born to Run Errands are both compilations of stuff that's not really conceptually tied together as an album, which I think makes them actually pretty neat because Odd Ends are stuff spanning probably like at least a 7 or 8 year range. Born to Run Errands is probably from a 3 to 5 year range of stuff. So there's a kind of versus something like this album Jazz, which I don't think we're going to get to today.
No, we are. I'm playing it right next. In fact, I've got a challenge for you.
Shit.
I've got a challenge for you, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you the name of this song. I'm going to tell, and then you need to tell me what's miserable about it, okay? Kid Rock's First Jet Ski off the album Jazz. Kid Rock's First Jet Ski. Now, what's not fun about that? What's not... Bring us down, buddy.
Happy to do so, Jay. Happy to... So I guess I don't know where that song came from. I was thinking the reason Kid Rock came into my head, I remember why, because there was a COVID-19 outbreak, which came from, I think, one of his like bars, like Kid Rock's Nashville Boogie Woogie or something. Like was operating at much greater capacity than they were supposed to, and a whole bunch of people like, ooh, we're allowed out, and then they all got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I was thinking Kid Rock. And then I just kind of got the idea to call the song Kid Rock's First Jet Ski.
I'm sure it was quite a day. The day Kid Rock got his first jet ski.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to think like there was. He has more than one. Like
right.
You don't have to know, right? But there was a moment when he got his first one.
Exactly.
Which was probably a really big deal for him. I'm guessing he wasn't famous then, but he might have been, or it might have been like just kind of this like, maybe he was on that jet ski.
I'm
like,
also gonna say this song has some what sounds like key shredding in it. Sounds like guitar almost. It's like there's some shreddingness.
There's a fake guitar solo in this. So what you're hearing is kind of 1 minute from the middle of an 8-minute song. It's the last song on the record.
Right.
And it builds up to this, and then after it kind of drops out, and then it goes crazy. Like the craziest stuff I've ever done, which is oh, okay. You're not gonna let me talk about my music.
Whoa. Pretty crazy. Good stuff, Chris.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait for the new albums.
That was, I remember, like, when I first, like, I worked a lot on that weird little fake guitar solo. And it was a lot of, like, takes and retakes, and then a lot of MIDI editing afterwards, right? So, like, just drawing in notes where I couldn't possibly play that fast.
Yeah.
But the fun thing to me is that I was doing most of that. At the time, my ex-girlfriend was living with me, and she was a nurse, and she got up at like, I don't know, 5 a.m. or something. So I would get up too, but I would just work on music. So I did that at like 6 o'clock in the morning, which to me is like, just seems weird and out of place, but it was what I was doing, and it worked awesome. It was great. That was a great. I mean, the relationship crashed and burned not long after, and left me pretty miserable.
Well, yeah,
but
if I had to hear that at 6 a.m., I don't know how long.
she had gone off to work already, but
all right.
Yeah, like it was all worth it for that dumb little fake guitar solo.
Yeah, shredding. Well, Chris, what else? Is there anything else you want to add? Otherwise, I'm just going to play us out.
I want to talk a lot more about my music.
Okay.
But that's okay. We don't have to.
We'll
we
listen
can
to you.
do this another time.
Yeah, I'd like you to come back and hopefully do a jam, when we can get closer together in the studio. But so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just play us out on, I don't even know how to pronounce this, So Many Sarsgaards.
Yeah, you know how there's like The actor, I think, is Peter the father? Who's the father? Peter Sarsgaard? Stellan. Anyway,
I know about these Sarsgaards, and I didn't know there was many of them.
There's actors in movies, and there's like 20
of them. Sarsgaards, huh?
Yeah, there's like I mentioned Peter and Stellan, and then there's like Bill and Tony and frickin' Frack,
Chico.
But anyway,
Harpo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is from the album Keyboard Variations, Chris's 5th album that he's waiting to. So, do you have like a vault, like Prince, like in your house or anything like that? You just walk in and.
Yeah, I do. No, I have a actually like directly behind where I'm sitting. I have my other desk where I would make music, but I took it all out so we could have the effects.
Yes, you did a good job with the green screen.
So it's all just bits and bytes on one little old computer, man. That's it. There's no magic except for what comes within all of our hearts.
You can say that again. Well, Chris, I think it's time for us to part.
It's been great, Jay.
It's been great, Chris.
I love you.
Enjoyed it. Love you, man. Take care.